Now, one thing I really strongly believe in is not bringing weapons to school and being any sort of gangster. I feel like kids that are like in high school nowadays try to become gangsters for some reason just to make themselves feel better about their lives, or at least have some sort of reason to be existing. And one thing I will say is that there was this one time where I decided to pull girls in the hood, and it was the biggest mistake of my life. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another crazy but also pretty embarrassing story. Now, this story all takes place back when I was in high school, and this was my grade 9 year. Now, in grade 9, I was just getting into the game of just pulling girls and stuff, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't look that good back when I was in grade 9. I seemed like any average basic dude. But one thing I can say was that I remember there's one specific time there was a girl that entered our school that was really unique. Now, by unique, I don't mean in any sense of like, disability or, high IQ. I mean by the way she totally was in general. Because when I was walking down the high school hallway, I remember there was a girl that I bumped into, and when she bumped into me, I ended up turning around saying, "Oh, sorry about that." "Excuse me, what'd you say to me, dog? What are you trying to do right now, huh? You trying to scrap right now? Are you trying to scrap right now? Who do you think you are, bro?" At that moment, I ended up looking at her. I'm like, I don't recognize you. That was the first thing I noticed, because I usually recognize all the girls in my school, because like, well, to be fair, when you're a player, you start to do that. But I remember when I didn't recognize this girl, I ended up saying, "Yeah, I don't recognize you. Who are you?" "What do you mean, who am I, dog? You don't know who I am? I'm the number one. Okay, this is my hood. You ever go down to D block? I am a part of the D block." At that moment, I didn't know what D block was. I thought like it maybe stand for like deserted block, desert block, destiny block. I don't really know what it is, to be honest. At some point, I thought she was even talking about Minecraft. But then here's where things got really awkward, because at this moment, this girl ends up pulling out a knife out of nowhere. And that's when I ended up putting up my arms like this. And I'm like, yo, like, chill out, bro. Like, you really need to chill, okay? It's not like that. And that's when finally a teacher ended up walking in saying, "Oh, excuse me, you're not supposed to have that in school. Don't make me call the police on you." Right as the teacher said the police, I just see this girl end up putting this knife away and running as fast as she possibly could out of school. At that moment, I didn't see her for the rest of the school day, but honestly, it was the really weird first run-in of this woman. But for sure, one thing I can say is that she definitely comes back in the story, because I remember after 3 days go by, she ends up showing up to school again. Except this time, she was way more shooken up. I don't really know why. She ended up walking into the class with even a black eye, which was really concerning, but at the same time, I could care less because I don't know the girl. But anyway, she entered inside the classroom that we shared apparently, and that's how I figured out she came back to school, because we share the same science class. Don't know why she's trying to learn science when all she does is just whip out her knife for every little reason. Like, what is she gonna do? She's gonna be like, "Oh, a rocket." Like, bro, like, come on, man. But anyways, when she entered inside the classroom, she instantly saw me and recognized me right away. And what this girl decides to do was very odd, because instead of sitting with a random person, she ends up sitting right beside me, out of all people. Now, I guess one of the reasons why she decided to sit beside me was because I always sat in the back of the class growing up. Like, I never liked sitting in the front of the class. Comment down below if you guys sit in the front of the classroom or the back, because me, I was definitely a back of the classroom kind of guy. But she ended up sitting right beside me, and she looks at me saying, "Hey, dog, what you doing?" I'm just, in science class, same as you." "Are you trying to be funny? Are you really trying to be funny right now? Is that really what the plan is? First you're trying to get the ops on me, and now you're trying to be funny?" "No, I'm just saying we're both in science class. What's your problem?" is what I said to her, after being really concerned to why she got upset over every little reason that came into her mind. I don't really know, to be honest, but this is where things kind of get funny, because I remember what ends up happening is we ended up getting an assignment where we were supposed to, like, do homework, a basic assignment that I easily knew how to do that same moment, and finished it before class ended. And since I finished it halfway through the class time, I remember it was really funny, because this girl that didn't really know anything about science, I guess she had like a low IQ, something like that. I'm not really sure what was wrong with her. She ended up trying to look over at my desk for this assignment that we just did. I guess she was looking for an answer key in some way. I don't really know, but she definitely did not know what she was doing in that classroom. So that's when I ended up just looking at her, and I just ended up handing my assignment to her just for her to copy. The teacher wasn't in the classroom, so it's not like it's gonna, get me in trouble. At that moment, she doesn't even say thank you, takes the piece of paper that I handed her, and started basically doing the homework. And right as the bell rang for us to hand in our assignments, I ended up walking up there, handing it in, and leaving the classroom as fast as I could. I didn't really want to just be in there, to be honest. I never liked staying in classrooms when I was growing up. But then out of nowhere, this girl that was, I guess, kind of a weird one, ends up walking up to me and saying, "Hey, thanks for what you did today. Like, seriously, like, you're actually kind of like a top dog." A top dog? Yeah, no problem. What, you don't understand slang? Are you like dumb fool? No, I'm just like, I speak English is what I told her. And she starts laughing. I guess I ended up making her laugh by making fun of her, which now I'm really confused on why she gets upset so easily, but not upset at things that should make her upset. And it leads to a point where me and her, we ended up actually walking down the school hallway together and just talking. I tried to understand most of her points, but she used a lot of slang, which, by the way, for any kids in school right now, using slang is cool until you graduate. Then when you walk up to like the average person on the street talking like a gangster, I'm not gonna lie, it sounds dumb. Like, I understand brain rot is normal nowadays, but please tone it down just a bit, okay? Like, we don't need that skibbity riz out there. See? Me saying that right now was just cringe. Going on from there, I remember afterwards, she ends up looking at me saying, hey, so like, I gotta do my runs later down at the D block. Do you want to like pull up with me? What does that mean? Oh, like, like gotta do my runs. Okay. Yeah, sure. I'm down to go for a run. Okay, cool. Meet me outside the school when you're done. She ends up walking away, and me thinking that runs meant like she actually wanted to go for a run. I ended up going into my PE locker that I had, picked up my shorts that I usually wore for that class, put them on, and after school, I walked up in front of the school wearing my shorts to go for a run with her. And I remember as I walked up to her, she looks at me and she's like, why'd you change? Because we're going for a run. Does it look like I'm trying to run? At that moment, I end up looking at her and I realized she's wearing like a heavy chain with like jewelry, makeup full of face, and she's wearing like this tracksuit. I think it's called a Nike Tech for all those people watching. I don't know why people wear them so much. Nike sponsor me, but like, come on, like a Nike Tech suit? You're telling me people don't wear a Nike Tech suit to go run? You guys generally actually wear it to flex on people. Seriously now. I don't know. It was kind of weird, and I remember she ended up like basically looking at me, making fun of me that I was wearing my shorts and not actually going to run. So that's when I asked her, wait, so what do you mean by actually do your runs? At that moment, we ended up walking to the other side of town. And let me explain this real quick. There's one side of my town that's normal and the other side that's considered the hood. Don't know why it's called the hood. To be honest, it looks like a basic down to me, but I mean, it's whatever. I guess it's the hood because people want to call it the hood. Anyways, when we were in the other side of town, I remember me and this girl, we were walking down every street corner. I didn't know why we were walking around. I felt like maybe this was a workout until something weird happened, where we ended up passing by someone that was standing beside a dumpster in an alleyway. And that's when I look at this girl and I'm like, oh, like, let me protect you. But what this girl does is that she ended up pushing me out of the way, going into the alleyway to the guy that was sketchy in the first place, and ended up grabbing a wad of cash from the guy. I don't know why this guy gave her cash, but it looked really sus to me, to the point where she ended up just grabbing it and walking back to me, and she's like, okay, let's go on to the next block. Wait, why did he just hand you a bunch of cash? Like I said, I'm doing my runs. At this moment, usually runs are like you go to the grocery store or you actually go for a run. But this girl, she went running and getting money, which is insane to me because we were in high school. And I think the part where it gets really funny was that me and this girl, we ended up doing this for like 8 different streets that we ended up walking down. And it felt so weird because her purse just kept getting more full and full of cash that I don't even know what it's for. But then afterwards, this girl tells me, here, do you want to go see my other girlies? Yeah, sure. Where are they at? And that's when me and this girl, we ended up going to like this like trap house is what she called it. And when we went inside, there was like a bunch of girls like sitting down watching TV and like just kind of vibing, except all these girls dressed the same. They all wear like sweatsuits and tracksuits or whatever suits you want to call it. They ended up wearing giant chains, sometimes with a pendant that says their name on them. And then one of the most oddest things is that all of them spoke the same way, where they would use this weird slang to like, make themselves feel better. Because I'm serious, like I've heard so many different slang before, but like gangster slang is one of the most cringiest things ever. Like I thought it was only things that people would do in the movies, but it ended up actually being like legit everywhere. And to think also that all these girls were like literally my age and in high school, like do they really know the essence of life? Like seriously? I don't know, but when I entered inside there, I remember a lot of the girls were looking at me super weird because I was dressed in gym shorts with like a normal t-shirt and like wearing like Air Force Ones. And I remember as we were walking around this trap house, this girl kept introducing me to everyone saying, yo squad, so basically this is my mans that I brought around the block. Everyone treat him nice and give him a good time. Hi. Is what I said, standing there super awkwardly, not knowing what to say at all. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, me and this girl that was from the hood, I guess, we ended up going inside the bedroom that she had there, and she ended up putting a bunch of cash under this mattress, and on top of the mattress, me and her just sat down for a bit, and then we ended up doing the Devil's Tango, which is kind of crazy because I never expected to do that with a hood girl. And by the way, I don't mean any hate towards anyone from the hood, or at least if you're pretending to be in the hood, then I really think you're cringe. But if you're actually from the hood, respect to you guys. I think I don't really know. But anyways, after the devil's tango, me and this girl, we ended up going outside of the bedroom. And that's when this guy that ended up holding like a Glock or something, I don't really know what weapon he was holding, but it looked like a Nerf gun. I'm saying that for YouTube monetization reasons, by the way. It's not actually a Nerf gun, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. He ends up walking in saying, yo, I heard there's a man in the trap house. Who's here? Skitty bop bop. Who's in the house right now? And at that moment, this girl ended up grabbing me, pulling me back into the bedroom, and made me jump out a window that didn't even have a window glass pane on it. There wasn't even glass on the window. It's just a hole in the wall. It was really weird. And yeah, I ended up running out of there as fast as I could and promised myself to never go inside another girl's trap house ever again. Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, for anyone that wants to be in the hood or anyone that acts like a gangster, uses slang terms in high school, I'm gonna say this right now. It's cringe. Grow up.